Hello everyone, I hope you're all doing really well. Today I'm actually in the garden sowing seeds. You can tell it's really starting to warm up now. Perfect time to start planting seeds because this is when really seeds start to germinate naturally in nature. You'll see most of the weed seeds are starting to germinate around now, so it's a good sign it's time to start sowing. So I'm just going to show you in this video basically how I sow seeds and how easy it can be when you just grow simply with nature. So let's get into the video. So I've got two nice empty beds ready for sowing. You can see there, and then the jostaberry bush behind, it's just started to come to life. It's got so many buds on it this year. It had so many berries in it last year. It was actually pretty amazing, but this year it's going to be it's even bigger, so it's going to get even more. But anyway, these two beds, I'm thinking lettuce in this one and some annual herbs in this one. I've got some lettuce seeds, Marvel 4 Seasons. That's a really good lettuce to grow, especially in a colder climate like here. So I'm just going to show you sowing that in there. I just want to show you basically how easy it is to grow food and sow seeds in a more natural setting, or more natural method like this, where I'm just going to basically direct sow everything. So I've got a rake. That's probably the only tool you'll need, rather than all the pots and trays and greenhouses that you need to start your transplants in. This is a much simpler method, much easier method, and works just as well. Before I sow the seeds, I want to just cover a couple of things when it comes to sowing seeds, because this is what I see most growers really overcomplicate. They try and control exactly to the millimetre how far apart they're going to sow each seed and how deep they're going to sow each seed. If you look to nature is, it's got most of this stuff figured out on its own. When a seed, when a plant grows itself, its own seed pods, and drops in the ground, what's the spacing and what's the depth of that? It's on the surface, and there's about thousands in space, about that much. So when I'm going to be sowing my seeds, all I'm going to be doing is basically in the beds here, drawing a line like that in the soil, sprinkling a lot of seeds in, not worrying about how many I'm putting in, how thick I'm sowing, covering it back up, patting it down, and then leaving it to nature. That's as simple as it is, or as complicated as it needs to get. When I sow these seeds, I'm not going to water these seeds once. There's probably only one occasion where I decide I'm going to water the seeds, and that's if I want to help them germinate in the first week and we're going through a bit of a drought. That's literally the only time. But other than that, there's something in nature that's called, it's this phenomenon where water falls out of the sky. It's called rain. That's nature watering your plants for you. You don't see anyone going around with a watering can through a forest watering the seeds, helping them germinate, do you? So I've got some nice lettuce seeds here. The only thing I'd say is these aren't my own saved seeds. So this year I'm going to make sure to save some of these because I really like them. Just a really nice, tinted red lettuce leaf. Seeds in my hand. I've actually not got too many left in there. That's another advantage of saving your own. You get a lot of seeds when you save your own. Just going to pinch some and literally just drop them in like that. I should say as well, when it comes to sowing seeds or growing food, a lot of it, the success actually comes down to the quality of your soil and the health of your whole food forest and ecosystem. Like if I had damaged soil and I had to till it to break it, so it was like clay, hard soil, rather than nice. You can see how nice and plantable that soil is. Obviously you want strong, healthy plants, because with strong, healthy plants, that means you get less pests, because a plant that's strong and vigorous and isn't dying won't be a target for pests. Pests only go for the weak, sick plants. So if you're concerned about pests in the food forest, pests in your garden, don't focus on eliminating the pests. Focusing on more about creating healthier, stronger plants, which really does stem from creating healthier soil. Healthy soil equals healthy plants. So I've done that row. You can see it only took me about 10 seconds. That's how easy it is. Now I'm just going to cover it up like that, and then just pat it down. sow seeds, but I didn't want to just make this video all about sowing annuals. I wanted to talk about the whole food forest and basically talk about the idea of planting perennials, because perennials is one of the biggest things to take advantage of when you have a food forest like this. Really, that is where most of the abundance comes from. Use that justerberry bush as the example. That was a stick, 3 years ago. Look at it now. It's going to be loaded with berries this year. It's just completely hands off. Right, and most of my food forest is actually weighted towards things like that. I've got a herb garden that has, all the herbs coming up now. Like chives just starting to come up. Thyme and rosemary is still going good. All my strawberries, they're all perennial. The rhubarb. Just looking around the food forest, you can see there's a lot of stuff. Asparagus is a really good one to take advantage of. If I left this food forest for 10 years now, than even coming into sowing the seeds, all the fruit trees and the bushes would be more abundant than the day I left. And to me, that is true abundance, and that is why I want to weight most of my food forest towards perennials like that. But it's not just about growing foods that you can consume. If you want really good, results and good produce, you need to plant for the wildlife and the ecosystem as well. They just bring in so much to the garden that really is like it's like my free workers, my pest control, my soil builders, whatever it is. Got some ants working away over there in an ant nest. One of the best things I actually had for bringing in wildlife was actually the weeds. It's pretty amazing watching what happens when I left. A lot of my, the field area up there had a lot of thistles growing in it. When they flower and they come out, the amount of butterflies and insects and bees that go on them flower heads is actually more than the wildflowers that are planted, which just shows you shouldn't view all the weeds as like the problem, because they actually do so much for the garden as well, let alone like what they're doing for the soil. I'm talking about the insects and the whole thing they provide for the ecosystem. So I've been keeping this a bit of a secret because if somebody finds out, they might stop me in the process. This is actually an oak tree. This is the future of the food forest. So in like 30 years time, we might have a massive oak tree here, bigger than that tree there, and then I can say I planted it. Or in fact, no, I didn't actually plant it. This is a perfect example of rewilding, in action. How like things just show up on their own. There's a really good place in the UK called Knepp Safari, which is in West Sussex in the UK. And basically they've just got, I think, around 1,000 acres of land that they just let rewild and not done anything, not planted anything. They don't grow any food. It's more just like an example of nature just rewilding on its own. And there's some really amazing stuff happening. So if you're in, down south England, then yeah, make sure you go and check that out because it is actually really interesting. So if you found this video interesting and you enjoyed watching me sow seeds, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel because that really helps me out and helps me grow my channel so I can hopefully reach more people with my future videos. Let me know if you have any questions about how to sow seeds because I can answer them for you. I look forward to seeing you next one. Thanks for watching.